Oh, that was not a good transition at all, but good morning. Let's get some music. Hopefully everyone is okay. It's 7:05 AM here. Got my tea, as you can hear. And we're going to be doing some puzzles, because that's all I do in these morning streams. I don't think the overlay takes over any of the screen. I will explain what the puzzle is. It's not a puzzle game, it's a Sudoku, a killer Sudoku. Give me a second. I have my breakfast as well, so I shall be taking breaks. This is quite early. But okay. Let me get my bearings together and let's see how everyone's been doing overnight. Jeremy's just finished streaming, he's done very well. £565 so far, wow. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Oh yeah, I need to do the title. Thank you, Jeremy, for pointing that out. Although actually I could be able to do it in mod mode. Bring teasers with me. Do they have... Oh, they have Sudoku. Do they have killer Sudoku? Sudoku killer. No, let's just do Sudoku. Okay, I think that's good. Right, without further ado, let's get into it. These are today's puzzles, so you can be certain that I haven't done them before. Because in order to do that, I would need to have woken up before this and done them, and I think that'd actually be more impressive if I'd remembered how to do them. But the way a killer Sudoku works, so if I go on to this first one, let's look. So, if you're not familiar with standard Sudoku, actually it's probably best if I get up a regular Sudoku, just get an image of Sudoku here. That's what our standard Sudoku looks like. You have these numbers in a grid, and you need to make sure you need to fill in the grid with the numbers 1 through 9, making sure that every row, every column, and every box has one of each. So, for example, this 1 here means that no 1 can go here or here, so it'll only go here or here in this top left box. And you have to fill out the grid. That's how a Sudoku works. A killer Sudoku, you've got the same rules, except there are no numbers. I'll restart the timer when we actually get going. Instead, you've got these cages, and as you can see, numbers keep popping up on the side here. But the numbers in the top left of each cage indicate the total that the sum of the numbers equals. So these three numbers would equal 19. So these numbers up here are telling me just as a little tool to say what combinations you can get that equal 19. And the goal is to fill out the grid, as you usually would, and complete the puzzle. This one's only a difficulty of 2. I haven't done one in a while, but we will see how we go. And I will just kind of be talking through what my thinking is. So let's pause the timer and start again. And let's get into it. So one of the first things you can spot is this 4. And actually, I'm going to hide that. This 4 here indicates that these two numbers equal a 4. Now, there are only 3 numbers less than a 4. If I were to put in a 4 in this box, anywhere, it means the other number can't be anything. It has to be a 0. It can't be a 0, so 4 doesn't work. Could be a 2 and a 2. 2 there and 2 there, but then they would clash, because then you'd have 2 in the same row and 2 in the same box. That doesn't work. The only numbers left are a 1 and a 3. And they do indeed equal 4, so I'm going to write them in just as a little note. So that's not 13, that's 1 and a 3, like that. And I just do that to indicate that I know that a 1 and a 3 are going to go in this box, but I just don't know in which order. And we can do little things like that to get started. Are there any at this 7, for example? We're not quite limited enough, so it could be a 6 and a 1, or it could be a 5 and a 2, or it could be a 3 and a 4. Or actually, now that we know it's a 1 and a 3 down here, we know that it can't be in a 6 and a 1, because if it's a 6 and a 1, there'd be a 1 in this box, and in this cage and this cage, there'd be 2 1s in this box, which doesn't work. So it can't be a 6 and a 1. Likewise, it can't be a 4 and a 3, because the 3 will clash, and that leaves us with a 2 and a 5. Those are our only options there. And the 23, in fact, I believe the only way of doing 23 is with a 9, an 8 and a 6, which do equal 23, and I don't think there's any other way of doing it. So they're okay. And that leaves us with only 2 possible numbers here in the 11 cage, which would be a 5, not 5, a 7 and a 4, which do equal 11. That works. So we've got this cage somewhat limited. We've got some possible combinations, but we're not quite there yet. The goal is to kind of work our way around the puzzle, seeing if there's anything that jumps out at us. And there are some clever little tricks that we can do to get through this. And I'll show you what I mean. If we look at this box down here, you can see that we've got 1 cage, 2 cage, 3 cage, and then we've got 1 extra, which is in that cage there. Now, if we sum the values of these 3 cages, we'd get 2 times 19, which is 38. So we know that all the numbers in these squares, or these cells rather, equal 38. Okay? Now, the numbers 1 through 9, if you add them all up, they equal 45. You can check that. In fact, I can do that right now. 1 plus 2 plus 3. Let's take that and get rid of that 10. There you go, 45. So we know that since this box is going to have the numbers 1 through 9 once each, this box in total is going to equal to 45. If this whole box equals 45, and these 3 cages together equal 38, then this leaves us with a 7 in that one, and we have our first number. If that's a 7, this cage equals 11, so that must be a 4. So that's one of the tricks we can do, looking at these 1 cell gaps, and just looking around to see if there are any other boxes with something similar going on, and I don't think there is. We've got this one down here, which is a whole one, same with that one, which we've already sorted. Yeah. We might also be able to do something with the rows. Yes, okay. So, you know how we said that the numbers 1 through 9 equal to 45? Well, I was using that in a box, but that's also true of a row. Okay? So we know that this row of numbers equals 45. We know that these two rows equals 2 times 45, which is 90. We know that these three rows equal to 135. Alright? But if you'll notice, this one cell here, we can completely cover all of these cages and leave that as a remainder. So we know that this whole section equals 135. We just need to sum the cages. Now, I could do that. I'm lazy. I'm just going to use this to tell me that these cages in total equal 128. So similarly, we've got all of these cages equal to 128. The whole section itself equals to 135. Again, we get a 7 in here. I don't like using the combinations to show me for cells themselves, but it's useful to display sums of cages, just because it's easier. And so if that's a 7, that's going to be a 2, because that's going to equal to a 9. That doesn't rule anything out from here just yet. I've just spotted this 16, okay? Now this 16 you can only make with a 9 and a 7. The only way you can do that. That's a 9 and a 7. We know that a 9 can't go here. So we remove that 9. And this is how we're just going to slowly work our way through the puzzle. Just seeing what we can do. Okay. Where else can we go? We've got this 6, okay? Now 6, there's only 5 numbers less than a 6, or only rather 2 combinations you can use. You can't use a 3 and a 3. You could use a 2 and a 4, or you can use a 5 and a 1. Now we can't use a 2 and a 4 because there's already a 4 in this box. It has to be a 5 and a 1. Okay, this 10, we can do 9 and 1, but we can't because we've already got a 1 in this box, in this cage rather. We can do an 8 and a 2, that works. We can't use a 7 and a 3 because we've already used a 7. We can't use a 6 and a 4 because we've already used a 4. So that leaves us with 2 and 8. So 18 must be 3, 6, 9. And that's how we're going to slowly work our way through the puzzle. What else can we do here? 16 again, we already know that's a 7 and a 9. We've got these two rows up here, excluding that one, equal 88. And if those two rows equal 88, we know, or rather these cages equal 88, we know that these two rows equal 2 times 45, which is 90, so this must be a 2. So that must be a 7. And if we know this is a 7, turn that off, we know that this can't be a 7. That becomes a 9, that becomes a 7. And then we can start looking at this one here. That can't be a 7, that's to be a 4. That can't be a 4, that has to be a 7. Oh, I spotted this. That can't be a 7, that's to be a 9. That's to be 7. We've got a lot of 7s here. I'm wondering if we can work out the rest through Sudoku alone. Where do we need a 7? We need a 7 in this box. Can't have a 7 there. Can't have a 7 there. Can't have a 7 there. Either there or there. Either one would work. So we're not quite sure where it goes yet. Up here, it has to go in this 15. See? Because this 7 blocks those two off, this 7 blocks those two off, this 7 blocks that column off, leaves us with the 7 in the 15. So to make 15 with 7, you have a 7 and an 8. And what about over here? We can't use 7 here or here. Now we can't use a 7 in the 9 cage, because if we were to use a 7 in the 9 cage, we'd then need to make up 2 in the other 2. The only way to make 2 is with 2 1s, and you can't have the same number twice in the same cage. So you can't put a 7 in there. The 7 either goes there or there. But we don't know which one yet. But what we do know is, if you remember this cage down here, we know that a 7 is going to go in one of these 2 boxes. Okay? These 2 cells rather. There's going to be a 7 in this one. We know that there can't be a 7 in this column. Now let's look at the other 7s that we've got on the board. No 7s there, no 7s there, no 7 there. Has to be a 7 there. There's a 7 there, the 5 there. Now these 10s, how can we make a 10? We can do 9 and 1, we can do 8 and 2, we can't use 7 and 3 because we've already used a 7, and we can use 6 and 4. Not quite limited enough yet. But if we know that we're not going to use a 7 in these 10s, then we know we're not going to use a 3 in these 10s either. Because if we were to use a 3 in one of these 10s, we'd have to use a 7. We can't use a 7, so we know that 3 goes up here. So in fact we've got 3 10s to make up, because once you take the 3 off of the 13, you've got 10. And the 3 ways to make 10 are 9 and 1, 8 and 2, and 6 and 4, out of the remaining ones rather. And we can't use 8 and 2 up here, so we know that an 8 and 2 is going to go into one of these 2 10s, because we've got the 8 and 2 there. And if we've got the 8 and 2 in one of these 2 10s, we can't put it in this one, because we've already got a 2 up here. So an 8 and 2 goes in this 10. So we've got 6 and 4 left, and 9 and 1. Doesn't help us yet, but at least I can't see a way that it helps us. But that's okay. We know that those cells are going to have those values anyway, so we can come back to that. That's okay. What else can we do here? How many ways are there to make 9? I'm just thinking. Can't use 9, can't use 8, can't use 7. You can use 6, 2, 1. You can use 5, 1, 3. And you can use 2, 3, 4. But I can't see if that helps us yet. Oh, this 4, we've got a 7 here. We can't use a 4 and a 3 to make this 7. We can't use a 2 and a 5 either, because if we were to have a 2 and a 5 here, there'd be no possible value for this one, for this cell here. That can't be a 2 and a 5. That's not a 2 and a 5, that's going to be a 3 and a 4. No, not a 3 and a 4, it's 6 and a 1. We can't have a 3 and a 4 because we've got a 4 here. That's 1 and a 6. That can't be a 6, get rid of that. $12, is that limited just yet? Not sure. Brain power isn't strong enough quite yet this morning. I am still drinking my tea. Right. Don't have enough information for this 7 yet. Let's see if we could do another one of our tricks. Well, we can get somewhat of a trick here if we actually just this. That's going to be 45. That's going to be 50. So we know these two equal 5. Can't be a 2 and a 3 because we've already got a 2 there, so they have to be a 4 and a 1. Now notice, now that we've worked that out, we've got this 13 cage here. Let's add that again. If this was to be a 1, that would have to be a 12, and you can't put a 12 in. That can't be a 1, that has to be a 4, that can't be a 4, that has to be a 1. Because that's a 4, that is a 9. And then we need to make 12 up here. Now, there are lots of ways to make 12. 3 ways in fact. We've already used the 9, so we can't use 9 and 3. We can use 8 and 4, and we can use 7 and 5. Both of which we can still use. So we're not limited there yet. But good progress. This 13. Make 13. We can do 9 and 4, which we can't. 8 and 5, which we can. 7 and 6, which we can't. So it's 8 and 5 are the only two left. Now, if we look at this column, we've filled in most of the cells. We know that we're going to use a 1, we're going to use a 2, we're going to use a 4 and a 7, they've already been used, can't use them. Can't use a 5 or an 8, and that leaves us with 3 cells remaining, which we know are going to be 3, 6 or 9. That's going to be a 3, 6 or 9 in there as well. And in fact, that can't be a 6 because of those 6s there. So that's a 3 or a 9. Now, that gives us quite a few combinations here. Although, in fact, no it doesn't. If that was a 9, we'd need to make 3 in those two. The only way to make 3 is with a 1 and a 2. We can't use either of those in this box. That can't be a 9. That has to be a 3. We can get rid of the 3 from there. Now, notice that we know that this 18 cage is a 3, 6 and a 9. Those two are 6 and 9. That has to be a 3. 12. Got the 3 there, so these two equal 9. Lots of ways to make 9. 8 and 1, which we can use, which we can't use because of that 1 in this top cage. 7 and 2, can't use. 6 and 3, can't use because of that 3. That leaves us with 4 and a 5. And this then means that that can't be a 5, and that can't be a 1. So because of this one, that can't be a 1, and that can't be a 6. We know that there's going to be a 5 in one of those two, so that can't be a 5, that has to be an 8, and if that's an 8, that can't be an 8, that has to be a 5. And you'll notice that this box is almost complete, we just need a 9. That goes there. Which means that a 9 cannot go there. And in fact, that 8 means that the 8 can't go there. We're left with a 6 and an 8 down here. Now these 9s mean that 9s can't go in there or there. We know that they can't go in those two. That has to be a 9. So we know that this cell, this cage rather, which we worked out earlier, is going to have a 3 in. So it's going to be a 3, 9 and 1 cage. So those other two values are going to be a 1 and a 3. Which means that those two are going to be a 6 and a 4. This 4 means that can't be a 4. Ooh, that's the wrong number. So that works out like that. This 6 means that can't be a 6. Starting to really fill up the board here. We look at this column. The only values we have left for this top cell is the 2 and the 8. And the reason I say that is because we've got all of the other numbers, and then we know that 4 and 5 go there. The only two left are the 2 and the 8. Well, that can't be a 2 actually. I have just spotted an error. Good morning, Adam. I'm going to hit the dreaded H and see how badly I've done. Oh, 1 error. Okay, so it's just that one so far. The reason I've said that's an error is because if that was a 2 and an 8, that can't be a 2 because of that 2 there, and that can't be a 2 either. So we're missing a value. Indeed, it's the 9. I jumped the gun here. We know that this can't be a 2, that has to be an 8. That can't be an 8, that has to be a 2. That leaves us with a 9 up here. That's the order I should have done it. Glad I spotted that error at the right time. So, we've got the 9 up in this top cage. We know that these two need to equal 7. We can't use 6 and 1 because we've got a 1 there. But we can use 5 and 2 and 4 and 3. However, we can't use 5 and 2 because if these two were to be 5 and 2, this cell can't be 2 or a 5 because they've got both a 2 and a 5 in this box. So that can't be either, so those two can't be a 2 and a 5, that has to be a 3 and a 4. The 4 means that can't be a 4, that has to be a 3, and that has to be a 4 there. What left do we have in this cage? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's going to be a 6 and an 8 pair here. Now notice we've got a 7 cage here, which means that can't be an 8, because if that was an 8, you're going over. So that's a 6 and a 1. That's going to be an 8 and a 3. That 8 means that can't be an 8, that has to be a 7. And from here we're just finishing the puzzle. And we've got most of the numbers now. Full steam ahead. Three values left here. 2, 5 and 6. That can't be a 5 or a 6, it has to be a 2. Those two there. That's not a 2 or that. It's a 5, 6 pair. Cool. This row, kind of neatly, the 3 remaining values in this row are going to be 3, 4 and 8. Let's start eliminating based on columns. That can't be a 4 because of that one. Ooh. This can't be an 8 because there's going to be an 8 there. And that can't be a 4 either. Now if that's a 3-8 pair, the 4 has to go here. The 8 is going to go down here, but we can't have an 8 here. That resolves that. And that 3 actually sends a lot down. If that 3 means that that's going to be a 1, that's going to be a 3, that's going to be a 1, that's going to be a 3. The other two values up here, we're going to have a 1 and a 2 because we haven't used a 1 or a 2 in this column yet. Now if that's going to be a 3, and this cage equals 9, that one's going to be a 6. And that leaves us with a 5 for this column, because we're going to use the 2 and the 8 down there. We've got the 5 and the 1, we need to equal 13 in this cage. That's going to be a 7. We could have also worked that out from the column. 2 there means that's going to be a 1. Solves that. That 6 means that's going to be a 5. Sorts that out for us. We've got a 2 here, we need to make 8. 7 and 1 we can't use. 6 and 2 we can't use, that means that's going to be a 3 and a 5. I'm going to use a 5 there, so that has to be a 2. Three there means that's going to be a 5, and that's going to be a 3. Let me have a tea break. We are almost there. Oh wow, I didn't spot that. I should have spotted that a lot sooner. That 5 means that's going to be a 4. Flips that for us. 17 cage, we've already used a 9. We've got an 8 left to make. 8, 7 and 1, can't use the 7. 6 and 2, which we can use. 5 and 3, which we can't use. That leaves us with a 6 and a 2. 6 in one of these 2 cages means that 6 can't go there. That sorts that out. That leaves us with a 1 in this cage for this row. These 2, based on the row, could have also done the cage, but the row is a little bit easier. Gonna be a 4 and an 8. 8 there means that's gonna resolve that, and indeed we can actually get the 2 sorted of that 2 there. In this column, what have we got left to use? That's going to be a 2, a 3, and a 4. We can't use a 4 in these 2 because of this one and that one. That means that's going to be a 4 there. Can't use a 3 in that one, that's going to be a 2. That's very easily resolved. 2 there means that's going to be an 8. We're down to the last box. That has to be a 1 based on the row. Those 2 have to be a 5 and a 6. That's a 5 and a 6. We need to make 19 in this cage. That's going to be an 8. That has to be a 9 based on that cage. That can't be a 6. That's a 5. And just like that, we have solved it. Ooh. And we're only, wow, we started a bit late, but that was kind of half our time. Now, that was today's easiest puzzle. So if I was to go back, it would take me longer to do the next one. Unless I speedrun it, but I don't think I can do that. Plus I wouldn't be explaining my steps. And quite frankly, I don't think that's an entertaining stream either way. What we can do though, I have an idea. Let me get up. A different type of puzzle. Which isn't going to take as long. let's pick an easy one just to explain it. So this is a LITS puzzle, and the way you do a LITS puzzle is you need to fill in each section with one of the 4 shapes. Now the 4 shapes are, ignore the grid for now. Oh, good morning, you know I'm live, right? Yeah, well, I'm just doing some puzzles. Yes. Me too, to be honest. Well, you're up next, aren't you? Some snapshot. What is snapshot? Oh, really? Oh, interesting. Hmm. Wow. Oh, wow. Interesting. I did see that in the schedule originally, because it's always usually been Jeremy does the night shift for us, and then I do a morning tea and puzzles, just, you know, all kind of soothing stuff. And then I saw Rocket League straight after. I thought, well, that's a very change of pace for the morning. Yeah. Only one, I've taken it slow. Yeah, just today's easy puzzle. It's been, I woke up at like 6:30. Like, I need to get on. Didn't want to leave it too long for Jeremy. But there's been no one around, so it's okay. Yeah, well, I was going to go, just because it's a little bit shorter. Effectively, it's sort of like a Tetris puzzle. It's interesting. So you have to make, so you've got the four-piece shapes. You've got an L, ignore the grid. You've got an L, you've got a T, you've got an S, and you've got an I. And in each of these sections you need to place one of them, but there's a few restrictions. You can never make a 2x2 in the grid. Every section has to be connected to another section. So you can't have, say, these 4 and then these 4 and then like those, because then this one would be disconnected. Yes. I think that's it for the... So this one's very easy. So we know that that's going to be an I, because you can't do anything else there. That's going to be an L. We know we can't make a 2x2, so nothing goes there. The S there, yeah. Yeah. We know up here, we're going to use those 3 cells. We can't use that one. Yeah, we can't use a 2x2 there, so we have to use 3 there and then 1 there. We can't have a 2x2 here, so that blocks that off, which means we can't use that. And so this one's quite an easy one, so it doesn't take us long. Can't have 1 there. If we were to have 1 there, that would then have to come down, which makes a 2x2. We can't have 1 there. we know that in this section we're going to use these two here. Actually, no, we don't. We know we're going to use that one because we could use the T. Always going to use that one, yeah. It's called a Litz puzzle. Yeah. There's loads of apps. Every time I download them, I'm like, this isn't good enough for me, and just delete it. I'll write it down. Two kids. I've noted it down. And let's finish off this one here. Still 15 minutes left, even though you're eating into my section. How dare you? Yeah, it's fine. There's nobody else here. It's exactly what I was going to say, so we can't do one there. And equally, you can't put one there for the exact same reason. Same reason here. Same reason here. This one would be okay. But we've blocked some off there. We know that this one is going to be connected to this section because it's not connected to this section, so one has to go there. If one goes there, there's no possible way any of these can work. So here we've got a few options. We can do an L like that, do an L like that, we could do an S, we could do a T, quite a few things. Oh, that was the other clue, not the other clue, the other restriction. You can't have a section with a shape that touches another section with the same shape. So this can't be an L because that touches an L. So this has to be something different. So you can't have an L in this one anyway because we've got an L up here. But you're right. You're right about the I at the bottom, yeah. So we can't possibly have one there. Yes, because it has to be connected to something else. And so we need to connect to this one through this one, so we can have one there as well. Now, we can't... That's going to be a T because we can't have an L because there's two L's next to it. The only possible one left is that T, yes. So we can't have a T here because that would connect. But it has to be, yeah, it can't be an I. It has to be an L, and it can't go up because that can't be a 2x2. You know, just check everything connects. There we go. Very nicely done. We did it. That was granted the easiest puzzle on the website. And we did it together. But these get very extreme. That's what a... Yeah, I'm not doing that. But that's kind of what they end up being. Those are kind of like mid-level ones, kind of reasonable. You've got this whole thing going on. That one's not too bad, to be honest, but I'm not going to get into another one. Jeremy did overrun, so I couldn't do two puzzles, but that's okay. No one's watching anyway. How long's your segment? An hour? It's fine, I won't go into it. but we are on £565. Would have been, not sure. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to donate right now. At the end of my segment. I am. Yeah. They very much are. And that's why we keep doing this. Yeah, they're so connected to our world. Are they UK? They're UK based as well, aren't they? Yeah. It's so good to see because so much happens for them. You know, everyone's really supportive of special effect, and it's just nice. Oh, that ends up going to special effect. Nice. Oh yeah. What did they end up getting in the game? Ooh. Oh, and just like that, donated. My pleasure. Yes. Oh yeah. How long have we got left of this stream? 9 hours. Let's hope so. We've got the... Right, well I can't really do any other puzzles because I don't really have time. I was tempted to do a speed run of one, but it just seems a bit... I can't in 5 minutes. Not in 5 minutes. No, because look. So we got this one. If I was to go back to the puzzles here... I don't like how F11 goes on the tab as well. So even if I was to do a difficulty 1, and just do that first one, like it's not even possible to complete it in 5 minutes just by entering numbers. Like, oh, we're lit. Let's see. It has to be an easy one. Okay, that's going to be those 3 there. That's also going to be those 3 there. You go for it. Going to be those 3 there. That was an L. That can't be an L there. But it's definitely going to be 2 L's here. So one of them has to go there. That doesn't help us much. You know, one's gonna go there for sure. We have that coming down. That's definitely gonna be 1 there. This box up here, we know that this is gonna be an L. That can't be an L. That's either an S or a T. If that was a T, we can't have 2 by 2. We could have a T like that. We can have an S like that. We can have an S like that. Either way, we're going to have 2 in the middle. Ooh. We can't have an L here because we know we're definitely going to have an L there. But it might not connect, so that might be okay. Ooh. Yeah, definitely not a 5-minute task. Can't have 1 there. Can't have 1 there. Could have an S there. We could have an S there. Could have an L there. Well, I'm not sure I'm going to get there in 5 minutes, that's for sure. Yeah. Because there's too many variables at the start that you need to work through. Oh yeah, good call. Which means we know that one's going to go there. Well, it's either going to go there or there. Well, the top one could be either a T or an S. Or it could go like that and then like that. Yeah, that's what I mean by too many variables. Even in this section, we've got either an S there, or we've got an S there, or we've got an L there. There's too many things going on. Although, if there was an L there, you can't have anything there. The only possible one to fit in is another L, which would connect, which would break the puzzle. You can't have an L there. There's definitely an S in this box. It's just a matter of whether it goes there or there. And that's the tricky part. One can't go here because if one went there, that would have to be an L. Now this is always going to be an L here, and that would definitely connect, so that doesn't work. This could be an I, but it doesn't help us. But we do know one's going to go there for sure. Oh, minute left. Oh. We know that there's going to be an L in this box, but if it was to go up here, we wouldn't be able to fit anything in there, it would have a 2 by 2, so it has to go down here. In fact, no, that doesn't work at all, because if an L goes there, we know that an L is going to go here, and that would connect, and that breaks. That's not an L, so I've done something wrong here. We know that, oh, that could be an S. Yeah. Should I reveal it? Well, staring me in the face. No, but we got that one done. That's fair enough. But yeah, nice chill stream. With Snapshot, with Adam. Yes, so I will turn off for now. Thank you anyone for watching. I say anyone quite particularly. Yes, I will switch off now.